if you didn't see this with your own eyes and have been experiencing this the last, few decades, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it's the United States of America. Speaking of which, apparently 40 years after Ronald Reagan and the Star Wars Defense Initiative, apparently now our U.S. missile defense is it's described as woefully obsolete.
Okay.
That's unacceptable.
Well,
how with all of our military spending, which is bordering on $1 trillion a year.
Yeah, the new budget even gives them more money, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. How do you let that go? And hopefully they're not. Maybe there's things we don't know about. That's what I'm hoping.
I would like to believe that.
That we have these supersonic ballistic missiles like China and Russia do. I hope. And I hope we've got things that can shoot down their missiles. But apparently we're behind now the other major powers of the planet. Years of force degradation and confusing policies from succeeding administrations leave the U.S. only barely able to defend itself from smaller nuclear powers. From smaller nuclear powers. We're not even talking about Russia and China. That's bad. Traditional nuclear strategy during the Cold War adhered to principles of deterrence and mutually assured destruction, also known appropriately as MAD, where the consequences of a nuclear attack by one nuclear power on another would lead to the total destruction of both. So, yeah, the deterrent is that you would both lose in this eventuality.
Right.
Now, that guided our policy for decades, but now amid a Soviet nuclear arms buildup, well, they built it up in the 70s and 80s, and so that's why Reagan became increasingly concerned about maybe finding a defense system that would shoot down nuclear missiles when they were aimed and coming at us.
Right.
So it was in that environment that SDI, the Star Wars Defense Initiative, was conceived. Now, it was almost just fantasy. It was almost completely made up. I mean, we did have the intention of upgrading our defense system, but the thing was, we scared the Soviets into submission. They had to increase their spending, which they could not afford. And it was one of the many things that contributed to their total collapse a few years later. Because they were trying to keep pace with us.
Up.
Well, now we just don't bother with any of it because we've got Democrats in office, and they say, "Oh, any kind of buildup of our defense system is escalation toward nuclear war." No, that's why it's called defense. Okay, we're defending ourselves, and you need to put up some sort of shield for when missiles are launched at us. But that's how they stop these programs. And now all of a sudden, all the Democrats are these war hawks who want us to be involved in war and desperately want to entangle us into every mess around the planet. It's inconceivable. And yet here we are conceiving of it.
Now we did. I think. Well, who do we have to be scared of now? I mean, we're concerned that Russia.
China.
China's it, right?
China. Yeah.
I mean, we've got reports that Russia is pulling out using old tanks and old military
from
equipment,
1947
for this Ukraine battle.
Yeah. Apparently, they're taking their old tanks. I forget what it's called, but they started the production of these in 47. And they're moving them from the eastern parts of Russia all the way to the front with the Ukraine, and they're rickety old 1940s technology. So yeah, how much are we worried about Russia?
I know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't be. It's not like we're fighting Iceland, but they're not the power we once believed they were.
No, they're
but
not.
You do have China, and according to this article, we're falling behind in the effort to even defend ourselves from smaller threats. That would be the North Koreas and the Iran,
Pakistan
countries of the world. Pakistan, yeah, whoever. So we need to get our heads out of our butts. And who is the next president that's going to be able to do that and lead the country back to being the world superpower? I mean, it's got to be somebody. Somebody's got to.
It's got to be somebody other than the one we have in office now.
Yeah, as we mentioned yesterday, Democrats cannot win this time. Okay? We absolutely must. It's imperative to save the country that Democrats not be in office.
Yes.
It's imperative. I firmly believe.
And that much is clear.
Yeah. They finish the job if they win in 2024. By 2028, there's nothing left. Nothing left to save. We will not be the same country. So these Marxists in the Democrat Party cannot win. So let's all get together. If we decide that's Donald Trump, great. If we decide it's Nikki Haley, great. If we decide it's Vivek Ramaswamy, even greater.
Yeah.
But it must be someone other than these people who are systematically and purposely destroying this country. Can't have it. Can't have it. We're at a point right now where they could finish the fundamental transformation of America. They could drive that final stake into our heart and just end this great experiment. By the way, a little later on, because it's the 248th anniversary of the speech, we got Patrick Henry's "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death" speech.
Oh, nice.
I think we should
Patrick
read
stopping
that.
by? Oh.
I think we're going to read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's not feeling that well right now.
Really?
So,
That's a
otherwise,
shame.
he'd read it himself.
I hope it's not COVID.
Well, he's in his early 300s now. So, I figure, we'll just let him rest at home.
Yeah.
We'll let him rest. And we'll read it for him.
Okay.
But you talk about powerful speeches and a group of men in our founders who were able to pull off this great American experiment.
And had such a vision.
Such vision.
Oh, man. It's unbelievable to me, the vision that these guys had.
And it wasn't just two or three like we have today. We name the same people all the time. Who is there? And then we rattle off a few names. There were 56 of them gathered together at the same time. Is that a coincidence? No. I think the Lord saved them for this time, for that time, and got them all together in the one place. Well, one place being the country, not the state or city. But, I mean, when else has there been that many brilliant people who were concerned with the same thing, and that's freedom, gathered together in one place? There wasn't another
and
time.
worked together for that freedom.
Yes. Understood what was at stake and really pulled it off bravely and courageously, because they all knew that the British would hang them if it didn't work out and we lost. They would have all been executed for treason. So